and tickets left and right. Now you're going to pay, what is it? They say $5 for 2 hours. $5 to go to the park where your kids are having a soccer game or whatever the case is, okay? Now, people say, well, the city's had budget shortfalls. They need to. Really? The city of Austin, last time I checked, gave $15 million in tax incentives to the people. The state of Texas gave $25 million of money, actual money, to build Formula One east of Austin, Texas. And they say, oh, it'll bring jobs here. No, it won't. Just like casinos don't. Just like the $200 million Dallas Cowboys Stadium didn't. If you want it, build the stinking thing. And then these mobsters couldn't threaten people to not bring it to their town. So they say, who's going to give me the most of your taxpayer money? It is pathetic. And let me give you an example of this. Just last year, the owner of Formula One gave one of his daughters $4 billion, the other one $3 billion. Now, if that was money he made off of a book he wrote or something he did, fine. Because I'm not a class envy guy. But let me tell you something. When I got to pay property taxes that are unbelievably high, or they'll come take my house at gunpoint, and then this guy's exempt from it, and he's exempt from everything else. We have an article we'll put on screen of that. I've got a whole bunch of these articles, and we'll show you these people. Billionaire daughter, Petra Ecclestone, bids for the most expensive home in America. Well, she got it. And the other one, she owns this giant, 40-something thousand square foot thing that has a parking garage for 100 cars and all the rest of it. And her other sister's got the second biggest house in the U.S., and that's just one of their houses. And now I'm told they've even got houses in Austin, Texas. Yeah, with my money. There's the guest house. The guest house is a mansion. Hey, you build your stinking palaces, but not on my dime. You pigs, make me want to throw up. So, we pulled up an article. I have it here on the stack. The city is increasing parking rates citywide. You guess what for? To pay for Formula One. That's right. When I had to shell $5 out to that zit-faced kid today, it's so this pig family got my money! Oh, I literally had to pay $5 to this pig, to this maggot. You have any idea how angry I am right now? And let me tell you, these are the type of people that fund big government and class envy and want to get 50 million Americans on food stamps so they're all dependent, so they have no idea what's going on in the real world. These giant armies of welfare slugs and the rest of them, and they've deindustrialized us so much, a lot of people can't help being on welfare. $22 billion of taxpayer money to move Cadillac, Volt and Cadillac from General Motors to move it to China. Ooh. And folks, I had some guy about a week ago at a party at my parents' house. Wasn't even a party, some friends over go, I've been listening to you for years. You really are angry? Is that fake? Yeah, man, it's fake. I still got a pulse. When I got to pay $5 and then I find out it's to go to Formula One, you bet I'm mad. You bet I'm mad. You bet I'm mad. My family's been going to those springs since this city was founded. And now I got to pay money. And they're raising rates all over the city to park so they can give your money to these pigs. Now, wait, there's more when we get back. Because it's not just the big multi-billionaires that are giving, oh, honey, here's $4 billion to my oldest daughter. Now, the other sweetie pie, you only get $3 billion. And you learn almost all his money all over Europe, same deal. Every track gets paid for and he gets the profit, and I get to pay for his pig family of parasite maggots. The phone's up with your stories of government boondoggles, where government takes your money and gives it to somebody else, a insider who's paying for their campaign, or who has hired their son or their daughter. And now, because these criminals want everything, they want to just keep raising and raising taxes. AT&T and Google are lobbying the federal government to have the FCC be able to tax the internet and tax internet service so money can then be given to them to develop internet projects for the public. Just like the government gives free laptops to kids, which aren't free, taxpayers paid for them. I hear it all the time on the news. We're getting more free federal money. In fact, talk radio across the country, it seems like news talk stations, that's all they do is Let's go to break now and hear the news. Oh, the city got $10 million of free federal money. No, you didn't. They took your money and sent 30-something cents back. I'm so tired of hearing cops on the news going, yes, we did shoot 9 civilians in New York. You're a civilian, too. We're not in an occupied country. I guess we really are. But you're a civilian as well. It's the government is the official, and we are the civilian. I mean, this is a takeover. This is a takeover. And people hear about this, and they're like, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to deal with it. I want to be lazy. That's why you don't have a job. That's why you don't have a future. I know you have your trendiness, but it's not going to take care of you, when you have children. It's not going to take care of you when you get bone cancer from the sodium fluoride in the water. In fact, I've got more articles on that I'm going to be getting into. More major studies, not just the Harvard study, about how fluoride is causing a 7-fold increase in bone cancer and many other cancers and reducing IQs. And then I just think back to how, where I live, again, you're listening nationwide, same story in your town, we're paying over $1 million a year for the fluoride, and it's not even fluoride. It's not even sodium fluoride. It's this type of acid that's even more toxic, filled with mercury, lead, and all these other chemicals that would be toxic waste that the phosphate company they buy it from in Florida would have to pay to dump or pay to store. Instead, you pay for toxic waste, the byproduct of the fertilizer mines where they mine the limestone to get the fertilizer. This is the stuff that'll kill the plants, but hey, we'll just put it in the water and your city council will pay for it. And if you bring in a scientist into your city council, or even if it's in Harvard Medical Journal, they don't care. They will then laugh at you because it's all so funny. It's all funny because they're basically a bunch of bank robbers. Now, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the daughter of the British billionaire buying the most expensive home in the United States. Again, Daddy gave her $4 billion just as a present. And, I mean, who can blame him? He's built, what is it, over 50 tracks in Europe and other areas, and the government always pays for it. We've got an article up there about how she bid for it, but I'm going to show you the article here where she got the house. She got the house. Again, if you're watching on Prisonplanet.tv, we're showing these articles. Now, continuing here, thought I'd just go over a few more of these to explain how this system works. Texas taxpayers finance Formula One auto race as school dismisses teachers. Bloomberg. State money in play for Formula One. $29 million in tax revenue. Here's another one. U.S. Grand Prix funding dispute rumbles on, but they got the deal. They didn't care. Questions about F1 tax money could lead to changes, affect other major events. And it just goes on and on and on. Just like Solandra and the $566 million of your taxpayer money that went and they never built anything. That's just how these scams work. Now, I thought I would move on just to some other Texas news to keep it local here. Property taxes in Texas up nearly 200% over the past 2 decades, comptroller says. Even when the housing market goes down, the price of your house on the property taxes goes up because you don't really own the house. The government does. I want your take on all this. When is enough enough? Do you like the $40+ trillion of your taxpayer money in the U.S. alone, but it's similar numbers in Europe that were given to prop up the mega banks who are too big to fail, and then the media spun the whole report, spun the whole thing to say that, oh, lazy people, this is your national debt. Well, yeah, it's our national debt because they signed us on to the banker's debt. If you think it's bad to have this woman getting $4 billion a year from daddy of taxpayer money, most of it, that's where he made his money across the world, is in these shyster deals. You think that's bad? That's nothing. That's where it all comes from. And that's why they want a police state in place, so you can't stop them. Another report here. Looking for a good job? Don't get your hopes up. It goes over the fact that not only is unemployment really over 20% nationwide, but if you look at the real rolls, but The jobs are cruddy jobs. Yeah, because it's a plan. It's a plan. The globalists said they want to deindustrialize America. Now, here's a Porter Stansbury article that was published in our new newspaper that 90,000 copies went out. It sold out in 2 days. InfoWars Magazine, September issue. You can still sign up at infowars.com/newsletter. And we'll send you out a free copy tomorrow along with a regular news alert. We'll send you a digital copy of the new magazine. You can flip through it, click on links and things. But Porter Stansbury, great researcher and economist, wrote an article. And I saw this and went and looked it up. And sure enough, it was in the Chicago Tribune. He wrote, "Welcome to Corruption USA." And in one section, he talks about how people like Corzine and others can steal billions and not get in trouble with MF Global. But then he gives an example of how they're teamed up with government, and this explains it all. And I want to get your take on this. Here's the toll-free number, 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539, 877-789-2539. First-time callers. Let me add that. We do that at least once a week to give people a chance to get involved on air. 877-789-2539. First-time callers, please honor that. The man with 10 jobs. Bellwood, Illinois is a small, mostly black residential suburb of about 20,000 people located south of O'Hare Airport. It's about a 15-mile commute straight east to downtown Chicago. It's in a very poor area. The median salary in Bellwood is $57,000 a year, according to a recent census report. When I did a recent search on the Zillow real estate website, I found just over 300 houses listed for sale in Bellwood right now. Just one of the homes is listed at a price higher than $200,000, and only 12 are listed above $100,000. In other words, this is not a particularly wealthy place. Yeah, it's poor. But the little town of Bellwood made news recently when a story came out in the Chicago Tribune about a local white official named Roy McCampbell. You see, for running this little suburb west of Chicago, Mr. Campbell made an astonishing amount of money. In his final year before retirement, Mr. Campbell pulled in a whopping $472,225. How did he make so much? Much more than any other municipal executive in the entire state of Illinois. Well, according to Mr. Campbell, he did the work of 10 people for Bellwood. This is great, comically, really. Let me show you a list of the jobs that Mr. Campbell claims to have done. Comptroller, administrator, public safety CEO, finance director, budget director, human resources director, mayoral assistant, corporation counsel, property commission director, and development corporation officer. But hold on, it gets better. As part of his contract, McCampbell was allowed 5 months, that's before vacation, worth of sick days each year, starting in May of 2008. He's had 4 years of this. Yes, you read that correctly. He got 5 months worth of sick days every single year. And because it's completely impossible for anyone to take 5 months of sick days in a year, especially when you're going doing the jobs of 10 people, Mr. McCampbell was able to get paid for many of the sick days he never took. So that brought his salary, according to records, up to close to $1 million a year, or right at $500,000 a year with added pay. When asked about his pay, McCampbell told the Tribune, "I didn't hold a gun to anybody's head to get this. I'm not trying to do anything bad." What kind of world do we live in where either this guy or any other local officials who approved of this contract see the problem of the situation? And then he goes on, it gets even worse from there. Okay, that article is in the magazine right now. You can read the whole thing at infowars.com/newsletter. Just put your email in, that's it, no name and whatever, and boom, we'll send you this and a lot more if you want to read that full story in the e-version. Sorry, the 90,000 copies, 50,000 on the streets of Austin, 40,000 we printed. The 40,000 sold out in 36 hours. All right, second hour coming up. Yeah, people are hungry for truth.